If you enjoy Draw and Paint What You Regret on YouTube and would like to show your support, you can find Cash App and Venmo information below. By all means, this channel is free to watch and learn from. Enjoy! Hey everyone, so welcome back to another tutorial. So this actual demo video is for my abstract drawing 1 class. So this is project number 3. So once again, as you can see, there is somewhat of a theme of what we need to think about when we are going to do this actual project. So to start with, I am going to talk about some things that we just need to know about on the logic side of doing this assignment. And what we are going to do is I'm going to talk a bit about form, and I'm going to talk about, which is the element of form. I'm also going to talk about the principle of proportion, or focal point. So my students have that option of doing proportion as a principle, or doing a focal point as a principle. So it is really, it's up to the student as to what they want to do when it comes to organizing form within a composition using these principles. So as you can see, I've done about a couple of thumbnails because my students do have to do about 3 thumbnails, and then we choose one and then we use that final thumbnail as a reference. So I want to talk just a bit about form. So there's different types of form. There is those regular geometric forms like cubes, spheres, cylinders, cones, so on and so forth, and then you have an implied form. So I tried to draw an implied form. So this is supposed to be a frame of a cube. Hopefully it looks that way. I don't think it does, but an implied form is just that it's a form that is it's a type of form that is implying a solid form that has weight, as well as that has volume, which is taking up space. But let's talk a little bit about organic forms. So organic forms are free form forms, are pretty much just that. They're pretty rounded. Sometimes they could be jagged, but they are forms that has a top, bottom, and side they're connecting. When you think about forms, you want to think about 3D. You want to think about, okay, this object has a top, it has a bottom, it has a side. You can walk in the round to see it. So typically a sculpture or something that's probably ceramics, that is a form in a round. Any human being, form in a round. You know, anything that has a top, bottom, and side is form. So as artists, we have to give the illusion of form in our actual artwork. So pretty much we're lying on paper. That's pretty much it. But we want to understand the difference between what is a line, what is a shape, what is a form, you know, because all those things do come together if you're trying to create form. Form needs line, form needs shape, form, you have to have shape that connects together to create form. So it's one of those things that's very important. Also, if you are a student that is working from home, now we have the ideas of different forms. We have an idea of the element of form, and also proportions or focal point, which I'm going to talk a bit about that. I also want to talk a little bit about some composition structures. So this week students are, I am going to introduce students to composition structures. So I want to talk about central composition, symmetrical composition, and curvilinear. So a central composition is just that it's whatever object you are drawing, or whether it is, I don't know, let's say it's a shape, let's say it's a line, but this actual object is placed dead in the center of a composition. So that is a center composition. Most portraits use a central composition. Another thing is symmetrical. So we've kind of already dealt with symmetrical, which is basically a balanced composition. So what's happening on one side should happen on the other side. So if we drew a line here, curvilinear is pretty much a mirror. So what's happening on this side is happening on that side. So it's a symmetrical composition. Another thing is curvilinear. So I tried to produce a curvilinear composition on this side. So as you can see, my boxes are curving within the composition. So that is a curvilinear composition. So a curvilinear could be arches, it can be spirals, it could be circles, anything that is curved, that is going to give you a curvilinear composition. So I wanted to talk a bit about that way even in this video you have an idea of where I'm going with this demo. So as you can see, I've produced 2 different compositions. My students are going to produce 3. So I am interested in working with a circular format. I think that's kind of going to help give me the idea of or at least give the idea of organizing a form. So as you can see, I'm interested in using cubes, but I also want to make sure I'm paying attention to proportion or focal point. So in this composition, I do have different proportions of cubes, but I also have a focal point because I have a circle in the center. In this composition, although I'm dealing with forms, I'm also going to plug in some shades because I think that's going to help give a bit of a contrast within the composition, and that's what I really want. I want to make sure I have contrast in this composition. So these are things that I know I'm rambling kind of long with this intro, but these are things that I want my students to start to understand, or at least think about when they are creating. I definitely do know if you're spending too much time analyzing or on the logic side of art, sometimes that can crush the creativity side, but doing thumbnails definitely can help you exhaust your ideas, and sometimes taking time to do thumbnails is a good thing. For me as an artist, I probably should do more than just 2, but because this is a demo, I just want my students to understand how to take your ideas from a sketch form or thumbnail form and then take it to the actual finished product. So these are the things that I'm thinking about when it comes to this project, which is my element, which is form, proportion, and focal point. So once again, I'm probably going to put both of them in this composition, but you could definitely use one or the other. The different types of forms, so once again, you have geometric forms, you also have organic forms, and you also have implied forms. And we also want to make sure we're thinking about some composition structures when we are producing our actual artwork. So I am in class going to talk about central composition, symmetrical composition, and curvilinear composition. So these are the things that I want my students to understand. Other than that, you guys, I know I've been rambling in this intro, but I would definitely see you guys in the next clip, which is the demo clip. So stay tuned for the demo. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hey everybody, so I just wanted to pop in just really quickly because I just wanted to talk about my materials that I am using. So I didn't get to talk about that in the intro as usual. So as far as the materials that I am using white drawing paper. Of course, as you can see, I'm using a ruler. I'm also using a mechanic pencil, just because I just did not feel like sharpening my pencil while I was doing the linear structure or the linear drawing of this drawing. So I am using an eraser, as you can see, as well as this is a graphite drawing, so a bit of a graphite rendering. I did add in very light shading, and it's mainly just putting in local value or a local tone on each plane of my cubes. I am using circle templates because I wanted to use a circle format for my composition. So I was leaning towards the more curvilinear idea of doing a composition, or you could say central idea of doing a composition. So those are pretty much the materials that I'm using. Of course, graphite pencils. I did use different grades of graphite pencils, so just FYI to that. And that's pretty much it. So white drawing paper, graphite pencils, erasers, templates, circle templates, and also my rulers. So I just wanted to stop in or pop in and talk about that because I realized I did not talk about my materials. As far as perspective, you guys, I use very basic 1-point perspective, and I probably didn't even, I kind of broke a few rules with that 1-point perspective, but I just wanted to keep it very basic. I didn't want to go into too much extreme with that 1-point perspective, so there may be some things a little bit off here and there, but I'm okay with that. It's my non-objective composition, so that's what I want my artwork to look like. So it doesn't have to follow the rules 100% when it comes to this assignment, but I just wanted to pop in and just talk about that really quickly. But enjoy the demo. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, you guys.